Hear from Tom House for a long time, and I heard years ago, he's Brady's throwing coach, and I did some homework, and you find he worked with everybody from Dak Prescott to Marcus Mariota to Carson Palmer to Drew Brees, and he is, how about this, joining us now live from down near San Diego. So let's start with this. The first time you were introduced to Tom Brady, was he special? Were you amazed by his arm, or did you think, this is a project?
No, he showed up. I think the first time I met him, we had 4 or 5 other quarterbacks. Matt Castle was his backup in New England, and Matt brought him by. We were up at USC doing our research and our work, and here's Tom Brady with Matt Castle. I think Alex Smith was there. I think Drew Brees was there. There were about 5. There was probably $1 billion worth of quarterbacks that day. And Tom shows up, and he's just like one of the guys, big old tall skinny thing. And it was, hi, how you doing? We went to work. He went through a workout. And after the workout, he said, would you mind working with me one-on-one? And that was like 7 or 8 years ago. And we're still pounding around. It's all fun stuff.
I think his arm is underrated. I thought he threw the ball with so much velocity twice this weekend that his young, talented receivers couldn't catch it. How would you describe his arm? Average, above, below? How do you see it?
Well, he's got a plus arm across the board, and his accuracy and his mechanical efficiency have actually improved based on our numbers. We quantify, we measure and we quantify. And you'll listen to the experts and the pundits saying, well, Father Time is undefeated and he's slowing down. He can't throw the long ball. Well, based on our numbers and our continual testing, he's as good now as he was when I first ran into him, probably more experienced. But I see no drop-off in any part of his game.
Wow. By the way, Tom has a new sports app called Mustard, provides personalized training plans based on the videos that you submit. It's called Mustard. Check it out. It's funny about you've dealt with so many different quarterbacks, and so many of the ones, it always looks like Phillip Rivers always had kind of weird mechanics. Drew, there's some guys. What do you make of a Mahomes who's doing sidearm stuff? And he's throwing it left-handed. Is Mahomes a generational, unicorn? Can you compare him to anything?
Well, what Mahomes has done is allowed football to change its gestalt. Football was pretty rigid on what they thought a quarterback should look like. And there were occasional, times when someone didn't quite fit the bell curve. But Mahomes has proven that there isn't just one way to throw the football. There's a way for you. And what it boils down to, he's a shortstop that can play quarterback and vice versa. The fact that he didn't specialize early, the fact that he didn't put, a one way to throw, ceiling on himself, he's kind of opened it up for the new generation of quarterback, which is someone that's a great athlete that can run and throw or throw and run. And even the kids, like the youngster up in Buffalo, he's a throwing quarterback that can run. The kid in Baltimore is a running quarterback that can throw, and Mahomes is both. So he's probably the standard right now by which future quarterbacks are going to be judged. I think it's a great time for football, especially for quarterbacks right now.
Has there ever been a quarterback you've worked with, Tom, that you feel is underappreciated?
Probably the kid in Detroit.
Matt Stafford?
Matt Stafford is, for what he's been doing and what he's done with that franchise, I think he's underrated. I don't think he's underpaid, but he's underrated out there. Well, you're talking to somebody. My first year in the big leagues, minimum salary was $12,000. So I kudos to these guys for making the kind of money that they're making. But I think he's underappreciated. But basically, I appreciate them all. And every time a kid shows up, There's like one set of rules, but there's a million interpretations. And that's what we're able to do with our technology, 3D motion analysis and force plates to see how the muscles work, and obviously paying attention to recovery. And then the key to the whole thing is the mental emotional makeup.
Yeah.
All these guys are pretty special. Some of them are just Hall of Fame special. And that's where Brady comes in right there.
Justin Herbert blew me away. I watched him at Oregon. I'm from the Pacific Northwest. You've known him for a long time. Was his arm this good, 17, 18, or can a guy's arm get better? Because his arm looks as good as anything in the league.
Yeah, he's had a cannon for an arm since he was a peewee. And these really tall guys, they mature and master skills a little bit later than a 6'1", 6'2" quarterback. The thing that impressed me the most about Herbert was the fact that he's a mechanical engineer educationally, so his capacity between the ears was already set up, which is the one thing that's very difficult to master. We knew his body would end up being a hell of a quarterback. But what I saw early on was capacity between the ears meshed with a total body talent that was, well, a high draft choice. And because of the circumstances, he probably was thrown into the mix a little early, but he responded. And I think you're looking at a future top quarterback in the NFL for a long time.
By the way, Hank Aaron passed away. He was a former teammate of yours. I always just thought of him as so dignified and classy. And you caught the home run. Do you remember? It was like 1974 or something, if I recall. Do you remember it like well?
Yes, I remember it very well because that's the highlight of my major league career. That's the good news. The bad news is it was the highlight of my major league career. The fun thing is that it was well planned. We had our territories out in the bullpen, all us relievers. And everybody talks about what a great catch it was. If I would have stood still, it would have hit me right in the forehead. I'd like to say I remember everything. I don't. I remember catching it. And then the next thing I know, I'm giving it to him. I do not know how I got from the catch to putting it in his hand at home plate. I just know that it's really fun to be a small part of a big moment in history. So when I think I've said this before, when I'm fibbing to my grandkids, the fib is actually the truth. So all good stuff.
That's great. Tom House, absolute pleasure. By the way, his new sports app is called Mustard, provides personalized training plans based on the videos. We'd love to have you on again. You look fantastic. He's 74 years old. You know what? When you're in a good mood and you're happy and you're helping people, it keeps you young. You look fantastic, Tom. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Colin. I'll pal around with you anytime. Have a blessed day.
All right. How nice is that? He looked great. Just when when you're doing things for others and you're helping people, I think it keeps you young.
It does.
He looks fantastic.
You don't age as much when you're not problematic.
Yeah, no kidding. Not screaming at people on the Angry Bird. Find the perfect bouquet for your Valentine's. It's easy. Go to 1-800-Flowers.com. The code is HERD. You can get 24 roses, multicolored for $29, or upgrade to 24 red roses for just $10 more. How about that? So who's coming up? Mike Silver is now. Mike Silver's friends with Aaron Rodgers because they both went to Cal, and Cal people, insufferable because they're all jealous of Stanford. So Silver and Rodgers are good buddies, and Rodgers doesn't like me, so Mike's going to come after me hard next hour. You watch, and I'm going to need help.
Need backup?
Yeah, I need surveillance. I need help. I need backup. As I said before, people always go, "Oh, you hate Baker." No, I don't. Joy and I root for good football. What if we had 32 bad quarterbacks? We would come here Monday and just be, but instead, I root for Herbert and Baker and Lamar and.
No, we don't mind it being a little interesting while you're playing good football.
Yeah, there are guys. Tom Brady is not the most lively quote. Aaron actually has given us shows and segments. Maybe I should defend him for that. Hour 3 in the Herd on a Tuesday next.
ran into him, probably more experienced. But I see no drop off in any part of his